And here we are. And good morning to everyone. Let's see the chat. Let's see if there is anyone there. I'm ready. Are you? Because today there are several things. Oh, hello. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, thank you, Olivia. Yes, I had. And just a lot of chocolate. Too much, actually. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Okay, while we wait a few more classmates. Good morning. As usual, I would like to ask you if you have some questions, some doubts, things that you would like to clarify in Revit, so that we can start with your question first, and then I have something interesting to explain today. But first, let me see if you have questions, doubts, whatever. Just feel free to ask. About your final project, about tools that we may have already used in Revit. I mean, feel free to ask things that you are interested in, and let's see if I can help you. If you have questions, I mean, it's not mandatory. You can say also everything is fine. I mean, I don't mind. I would be happy. It looks like you have no questions, as I can see. And if you have no questions, we can immediately start with good morning. Good morning. For a moment, no questions. That's great. So, today I want to show you first something just to be 100% fair, something that I've explained to Thursday class that came from a question. So, it is just something that takes 3 seconds, but it's pretty useful, and especially applied to your final project where you need to design things that have specific areas. So first quick thing that I want to show you to start is something that is called room, and this is a very simple thing. I mean, it takes 3 seconds. Let's see. Good morning. Good morning. So, just a quick thing before going into the actual today's topic. There is this. In your architect... are you coming to the VR exhibition? No, but send me the link. I have no plans for tomorrow, but if you send me the link, I will check what it is about, and I will take a look. It sounds interesting. Okay. Send me emails or messages, Instagram, whatever, but send me the message or the link wherever. I check mainly email. If you want to contact me in general, this is off topic. First thing that I always check is email. In second place, there is Messenger on Facebook and Instagram. But the thing that I check the most is the email. Is good to go when you need to contact me, and that is a okay. So let's see if this simple thing in Revit now. There is something called room. So what this thing is about? It is this simple button here that at the very first look, doesn't look very interesting, while it allows you to make something that is quite useful. That is this. Look. Let's say I make my walls. Sorry. I'm working in millimeters and I honestly don't like, so don't be mad, but I go to units and I set my units into centimeters. Okay. Rounding is fine. Okay. Oh. So, I make a house, let's say, and I will start by creating different spaces inside this house. Nothing fancy. Okay. Then I also put at least doors to make this looking like a real house. Okay. It's not a masterpiece in architecture, I know, but see this. If you, and maybe I will put the floor as well, just in case. Okay. So, what we have now is this. Now we have created a space. Maybe we have the control of dimensions, length of our walls, and so on and so on. But a quick information that we can have in a click in Revit is by adding this simple tag that is called room. So not tag room, believe it or not, just use this one. You click room and you move your mouse inside what is in the real project is a room, and you simply make one left click inside your room. Room placement is still active until you press escape, so you can keep adding these tags in all areas there are real rooms of your project until you press escape. When you press escape, this is what remains in your project. So you have a simple can you create also open spaces rooms? In a second, and I will explain. Yes, I understand what you mean, and I will explain it in a second. So, what happens is this. You create these attributes. There are basically like a dynamic polyline that is adapted to your space. And in here there are a few main interesting things that you can do. There are, first of all, if you click the name once, you can rename your tag. So let's say you can call this like living. You click here, you call these I don't know, bathroom. These will be corridor, and so on and so on. This can be kitchen, and then whatever here, man cave, and here whatever, and here bedroom. Okay, so just to show you, you can first give your rooms the name. There is a number that is useful one day when we will study the possibility that you can make like schedules directly from Revit. But the most important thing that you need to know about room is not only that you can just write this unuseful thing, because you could write it with text, but the most important thing is this. Look, if you select one of your room tag, it doesn't matter which one, and then you go to properties and you click edit the type, what you can do is this. First of all, if you need to show the number of your room, just you have to know that this happens by default. But if you don't want to show the number because maybe it doesn't make any sense, you can simply uncheck from the properties of your tag show room number. You will click apply, and this is first thing that you see, that is the room number disappears. First of all, it is batch room, and then I will fix it to bathroom. Sorry, I haven't seen this. But see this phenomenal thing, because while you are editing the type of your room tag, you can instead check the option called show area, and you click OK or apply and then OK. But in a second, you will see that in all of your rooms, it appears also the area of that particular room. And let's say this is a little bit, I can drag this a little bit, exactly. And let me fix this one because it's not batch room, it has to be bathroom. Okay. So in this way, not only you have a very precise dimension of your rooms, but what is more important is that once that you have created room tags, they are adaptive. So if you make changes on your project and you move your walls and you change the shape of your rooms, you will see that these tags are automatically changing their informations. So, see this, for example. I can see that this corridor is 7 square meters big. This kitchen is 27 square meters large. So, what I will do is this. Look, I will just move this wall a little bit below, and when I release it, boom, I have immediately let me move it here, I have immediately my room tags automatically updated to my adjusted dimensions. Okay, so let's see it again. If I move these, poof! And in this way I can have a constant control in the area of each room that I am creating. So let me see a few questions, because first is open space. Another one asks if we have two identical floors, then how we can copy them but this is not this is not about rooms. Is it true? This question, if we have two identical floors, then how we can copy them, since they are copying horizontally but vertically they are not catching. Same point. It's not about rooms, is it true? So we have to answer this question in a second, while I want to answer this question. Mamo Plus says, can you create also open spaces rooms? The thing is, so and so, what it means. Look. Yes. If you make a room like this, this is not a room. These are three walls. And if you try to put the room, the tag says that the room is not closed. So technically the room must be placed inside a closed boundary of walls. But sometimes instead we may need to do something that is slightly different. That is this. Let's say you have this. You have this house in here. Okay. And then maybe there are other rooms. Okay. Again, nothing unbelievable. Just a common house where I will place door. I mean, bathroom is a little bit tiny, but then it happens this. Look, in reality, this may be a bedroom. This will be the bathroom. This is a small corridor. This is another bedroom. And in here, because this is a big open space, open, quote-unquote open space, because technically it is closed by these walls, but I have this big area here. Making this area 41 square meters will be a little bit wrong, because maybe I want to specify to my client something like, look, I want to specify that this area here is just the entrance, like a small lobby, no? And maybe this area of my big open space is the one that will be for kitchen and dining, and this remaining area is the one that is for living room. So while the space itself is one continuous big space, what I can do instead is, once that I place a room tag, what I can do is I can place something called room separator And I can make these lines and then enter, so that I can, after making one line and pressing enter, I can divide my previous room tag and I can split it in these two separate room tags. So now I have the specific information that says that my entrance is a space that is 6 square meters, while my big room is 35. But I can add another room separator. So let's say I will click from here to there. I press enter, and then after pressing enter, I will place my next room tag in that space that I have cut. So even if I had a big open space with rooms, I can also know more specific areas of certain spaces of my space. Okay? Was this the question that you were asking, or both? The one with no walls and this? Perfect! So, before going to the today topic, let's answer last question that popped into the chat. That is, if we have two identical floors, then how we can copy them, since they are copying horizontally but vertically they are not catching. Let's see the solution to this problem. So let's delete these. Let's make a more precise house, but simply because in my quick explanation of room I was using wall center line. I just want to be a bit more precise. So look, let's say I make something very realistic. That is, I make this beautiful house. Fantastic. Then I put a partition inside. This one. Okay, so let's imagine this is the entrance. Fantastic. Then we have another room. I mean, just to make things a little bit more complex. Perfect. And last one here. And we can put whatever we want. I can put doors in here. Another one that is the entrance. I can put windows. Whatever window it is, a little bit small, but it's okay, just to place something. And okay, they are enough. So now let's see this. I can also put the floor, not the roof, of course, but let's see this. If I go to the 3D view, this is what I have. I have only the ground floor of my beautiful house. And maybe I want to make my second floor to be exactly like this. So let's explore which are ways to make this happen. So let's explore way number one. Let's see. Into the 3D view, I can try to select everything. I will click copy, and I can select this point, let's say, and you can see, like your classmate says, that even if I try to pick this point, this is a point that I can't take. And what you need to understand is why this is happening. This is happening because I am working on my level 1. So all my copy transformations, just to show you the problem that your classmate had, if I try to copy, the copy works on the plane and not into the 3D space. Okay? And let's see which is right way to do it. Right way to do it would be this. You go on your floor plan and you simply select whatever you want to copy and you press Ctrl C to copy. Then you have to go by remaining in floor plan, but in that level there is where you want to place your second floor. So I double click on my level 2. When I go on my level 2, I can see a brighter drawing here, this light gray drawing, that is actually my lower floor. So what I will do is I will now press Ctrl V to paste. It is placed somewhere at the beginning, so don't try to match the position immediately. I just place it somewhere else. Okay? And then I move what I have copied from a corner of my upper floor to the matching corner. That is this one. That is not matching. Wait a second. So I say I move this from here. Why this? Oh, come on. Move it from here to here, finally. So you can snap up and down, but you need to work in your level. And now you get this. The fact that I have these walls that are not touching is only because the height of the level is not the same height of my walls. So I select them and I constrain them to level 2. But this is how to copy paste things by going up and down. Okay? Does it work? Was it clear? You want to see it again? Because I can explain also another interesting thing about this. Or let me know if it was clear enough. Oh, thank you so much. So, just one additional, but this is only a copy, not an instance. Yes. There is no instance copy different in Revit. So, if you want to make things, because basically it happens this. Look. If I select these two walls on my second floor and I drag them like this, that's okay. Of course, I can drag these walls, but my upper walls, they won't change. Even if this house is start looking great now, but if you want to make constraints, and if you want to make something that looks or acts like instances, you need to add certain parameters to your elements. What it means? It means that maybe you need to start using a line, and for example, I will select this face and this face of the wall, and of course I have to do this when they are fine, but I will click and join, delete elements, and then I have to lock this. I should do the thing when they are at the beginning, because now this looks a little bit weird, so let me do it here. Look, I have to click a line, I select the face of this wall and then the face of this wall, and I set lock. If I add this parameter, then if I stretch this wall, if I, let's say, stretch it, I have to add also this wall constraint. But basically you have to add more of this kind of constraint. But if not, no, there are no instances in Revit, there are only copies. So you have to make your copies when you are sure that they will properly work. So last thing that I want to show you about this. Look, let me delete this horrible thing and let me put this back here. Okay, one last thing is this. Imagine that you need, you're welcome, imagine that you need to make more levels. So I go to, yes, exactly, you need to make programs and scripts, so there is not that, you need to add parameters basically to make them acting like instances, but there is not a button that says they are instances. No, there is not. And I was saying this. Let's say we want to make more levels. So I go to elevation and I add additional levels. Okay. So now 666. It wasn't made on purpose. So let's say 800. 1200, so that they have all the same space. That is 400 centimeters up, 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 up. So when you have lot of levels, it happens this. Look, you are in level 1 and you can see below, because when you make a floor plan, you see what is happening below the plane that you are looking. When I go to level 2, I will see my level 1 that is underneath. When I go to level 3, it is weird, but I don't see anything, because when I am on level 3, Revit will make me see whatever happens into level 2. So it is not an infinite viewing distance. Basically, just to make a quick sketch, it will happen this. Look. When I select level 1, this one, I will be basically here, and I will see below, and I will see, in this case, nothing, because underneath level 1 there is nothing. When I select my level 2, Revit places the point of view here. It let me see what happens below, but it stops basically the view where at my level 1. So it keeps working like this, and if I go and I work to level 3, Revit places my point of view here. It allows me to see what happens below, but it will stop my viewing distance to whatever happens into level 2. So the depth of whatever objects I can see in floor plan is not infinite, but it has limits. But what is interesting is that this is not something that is fixed, but this in reality is something that you can set view by view. So what it means is this. Let's say in my project I have a house that is a little bit weird, that has a part in here, another part in there, another part like this. So technically what is in my level 3 should be snapped to what is in my level 1, and what is in my level 4 should be snapped to what is in my level 2. And by default it looks like this is an impossible task to do, while it's not true at all, and it simply works like this. Look, if I go to level 1 and I Control C, and I copy all these elements, when I go to level 2, it is exactly what I did before. I could paste them and I could move them by snapping these points. But I want to paste that level on my level 3. And when I go on level 3, just because level 2 is empty, I don't see anything. So, check this. I go to level 3 instead. And I just click inside my level 3 viewport so that I enable viewing properties. And into properties of my let me see better, of my view, there is something called Underlay. That means basically what I can see underneath or above even. So I can say that the range of my view, so how far I can see, will be about what happens to level 1. And in this case, I want to look down because I am at level 3 and I want to see what happens down till my level 1. So I click apply, and even if I am 2 levels above level 1, I can see till the level that I want. So I can make Control V and I can paste my object somewhere first, and then I will move it, and I can snap perfectly points, even if my points are on level 3 and on level 1. And if I go to my 3D view, you will see that even if this part is actually flying right now, these objects are perfectly aligned together. So, just to repeat, look, I can go to level 2 and I will make this weird construction. Okay. And I can select it. I will click Ctrl C to copy, but the copy that I want to place will be in level 4. So I go to level 4 and I can't see anything again. But in my level 4, I just click the viewport, I set the parameter that is called Underlay, and I set that I want to see till level 2, and I click Apply. Boom! And from my level 4, I will see only what happens to my level 2. Then I can paste it. I paste it somewhere first, and then I move it so that I will snap it, finish, boom! And I have this phenomenal house. Oops, these walls are flying. I forgot to modify their height. Okay. Level 5. And I have this great looking house that is snapped level by level. Okay? What is the difference between underlay and view range? Let me see. The view range is just a more complex way to achieve this, and it simply sets how deep, and basically it moves in the sketch that I have made before, but in general is not that useful. But if you see the viewing view range allows you to also set what is here the color. Basically, it allows you to specify if you are here the exact distance that you want to see, so basically till where you want to see. That in general, let me tell you, it is correct as it is. If you start messing those things, maybe you will lose some details, or you will start losing the correct behavior of Revit. So in general, it is better to work with underlay. And with the only different is basically this. What is here? Level 4, level 3. So if I set underlay, I can instead quickly say that I want to look up or look down. So let's say I want to see till my level 5, And with Underlay instead, I can have a quick and easy view of levels, even if one is above and one is below. So I am in level 3 right now, and I can see whatever happens to my level, till my level 1 underneath, and up to my level 5, okay? Or I can look down, okay? But in addition to that, if we have two separate planes and we import them, I don't get this question, honestly. If we import from where? From Autocad. Is it possible to import planes at different levels? I mean, why not? Exactly. So let's close a bit of this. Okay, so check this. In my project, now I have all these levels. Let's delete them. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. Perfect. Let me see if I have a quick Autocad floor plan that I can import. Let me see. Let me see. This one. Oh, great. So, this is in centimeters. Save as. Desktop. It's called example. Boom. So, I go to level 1. I go to insert. I go to import CAD. I go to my desktop. The thing is called example. So it's this one. Color, fine. Import units, centimeters. And in here, I mean, it's not that hard. It is written. It is written place at level 1. Because I am doing this by selecting level 1. So I click open. And I will place it. No, but it's not. Ah, exactly, it's this one. Phew. But if I go to level 2, okay, and I import CAD, and I import these, you will see that when you import, according to the level that you have previously selected, you will perfectly place your next floor plan to your actual level. But also, can you see this option that I'm using here? That is called origin to origin. This basically uses the 0 point from Autocad, and it uses this point here in order to place my Autocad drawing inside Revit. So if I want to, and if I correctly use this option, my next floor plan no, don't freeze. Sorry. My next floor plan that was freezing, so let me redo it. So look, I go to import, example, centimeters, It's okay. Click open. And of course, because I'm in reflected ceiling here. So what happens is that now I have at level 1 and at level 2, I have my two floor plans that are sharing also same exact position. Let's see if I can see them in 3D. Exactly. They are also perfectly aligned already because they were sharing same 0 point in Autocad, and because I use origin to origin, they use that reference, and I don't have to worry about misalignment. Is this the thing that you want to see? Let me see. Perfect! So, just select the level before and import the floor plan according to this information. So now, let's see instead what we have to learn today. That is, if I go to component, I want to show you this unbelievable thing. That is, you may have noticed that below component there is this triangle, and while when you simply press component you do this to load objects from the library. Oh, wait a second, we have problems. I was saying this. So what I want to show you is this. Below component you can click this button here, and the tool that I want to show you is the one that is called Model in Place. Model in Place is a one way that you have to create new objects by yourself in Revit. And you can create whatever kind of object you need. You can create new custom shaped walls, ceilings, rooftops, furniture especially. And by clicking Model in Place, what happens will be this. Look. First thing that you need to do in Revit is you need to let Revit understand which kind of object you are about to create. And this is extremely important because according to the object that you create, Revit will assign to your object certain behaviors. Just to make 3 examples. If you make a new furniture, and you have to select that you are about to make a new furniture, it happens that Revit will draw that furniture with thin lines, okay? And if you select instead wall from this list here, Revit will then draw that wall with thicker lines, and it will place it in the layer of walls. So if we hide wall category, it will hide this one. If you select to hide furniture, it will hide this one instead. Or third example will be if you want to make a roof or a floor, for example, and you want to make this custom shaped roof, then, do you remember we have studied a simple button that is called for walls attach top? So if you have a wall underneath your custom roof, if you select the wall and you click attach the top, it will let you attach your wall to your custom shaped roof. But if by mistake you have made this object and you have selected that this was a furniture, Revit will never allow you to attach the top face of your wall to a furniture. So, first and most important thing, when you use model in place a component, is that you need to select the real kind of category of the object that you want to create. And let's start easy. And I will start by making a simple furniture. And once that I click this, I need to give a name to my object. So I will call it like bookshelf. Okay. And what I see is this. Look, when I click model in place, the interface of Revit changes dramatically. And instead of having architecture, I have a tab that is called Create. And in here, I can instead create 3D models by using these objects here. I have, first of all, to understand to... Oh my gosh! Why is this doing like that? So give me a second, because let me close Revit for a second and let me open it again, because the graphic card is going crazy. Sorry, these things happen to me as well. Here everything is working. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Okay, so we said he's overeating. I think a little bit. But mostly because just if you want to know, the streaming uses the graphic card in order to convert the video into something that is visible on YouTube. The viewport used the graphic card. Yes, it is OBS. It is OBS that is using. I should simply, I mean, it's not that hard. I should simply raise my laptop instead of keeping it on the table. And this is probably something that I will build during the weekend. Anyway, a beautiful laptop stand. So I was saying this. Look, I go to model in place. I want to make a furniture, and I give my furniture the name. Perfect. So let's understand how model in place works in Revit. First of all, we have these tools, but they are, or increase the fan, yes. So what I want to show you is this. There are these tools. There are tools that are simply called with a name, like Extrusion, Blend, Revolve, Sweep and Swept Blend. But next to them, if you see, there is an icon that is called Void Form, and they have same exact name, just with one difference, that is, they are called Void Extrusion, Void Blend, Void whatever. So what these two group of tools mean is that when you use just those blue tools, you create 3D solids. When you use void shapes, you create another 3D solid, but, so let me change the color, but when you create your void extrusion, what void does is what we have already seen in 3ds Max, that is, it is a pro-Boolean subtraction. So if you first make, let's say, an extrusion, and then you make a void extrusion that is in that has volume in common with your solid, final result will be to create an object that will be like this. So you have basically your extrusion and you have subtracted your void extrusion from the previous one. So the way that these tools work is exactly the same, but the group of tools that has blue icons is solid. The one that has transparent see-through icon is to subtract, and this is first. Second thing that you need to know about creating objects in Revit is that all Revit objects are sticked to a working plane. And if I make, let's say, if I use my top plane and I create my extrusion by making a very simple box like this, what you need to know is that this object will remain attached to this plane. So if I want to rotate it, I will be able to rotate it like this. So I can change the orientation of this box. I can move it along this plane as well, but I can't, like in 3ds Max, I can't rotate my box like this, so to make it angled like that, because from the place where I have drawn my object is a horizontal plane, and it will stay in that horizontal plane. If I need more working planes in Revit, I can, and this is why there are these two main buttons here called reference plane and set. Technically here it should be written set plane, simply because if I need, I can create as many working plane that I want. I can make horizontal, angled, vertical. I can create whatever plane that I want, and then I can set, let's say this is called, I can call it top, this I can call it front, this I can call it weird, and then I can create my extrusion here, my extrusion there, my extrusion here. There is no limit in creating working planes, but each time I need to create and set my working planes. This is the only tricky part, let's say, of using model in place in Revit. So let's see this. First thing that I will do is I click set, and I will see that from the plane that is called here, my starting plane will be level 1. Phenomenal. So I can click extrusion, and extrusion works like a very basic tool. Basically, you have to draw closed shapes, and let's just zoom in, and the shape must be closed into the same extrusion. If you want, you can also create more closed shapes. This you can. And also into the same extrusion if you want. No, that's okay. You can also place closed shapes inside closed shapes to have holes directly from your extrusion. But once that you have made your closed boundary of your extrusion, you click this green check sign, and I will go to the 3D view just to see it better, and in your extrusion you can give a more precise height by using extrusion end parameter. So you can type the height that you want, as well as if you see in your extrusion there are all these blue grips, but if you see there is only a couple of grips that is pointing up and down, and if you want you can also manually left click and drag these grips to go underneath your working plane or above your working plane if you click your lower grip, and you can also change the height of your extrusion by manually dragging these two vertically oriented grips, or just type from where the extrusion starts till where the extrusion ends by typing numbers inside properties, and then you click apply. Okay? Till here? For extrusion, let's see, because now I want to show you an example of creating a plane. Look, what I want to do is, because I want to make my own custom furniture, what I want to do here is something phenomenal. That is, I will make a sketch first, and what I want to do is, instead of having a common bookshelf, I want in here to make something like this. I want that this side of the shelf must be like that. Like an more or less an M-shaped element. Oh my gosh, I'm so good in drawing. Like this. Perfect. If I mean, there are a lot of ways to make this kind of object. So I could start by making, I know, it is beautiful, isn't it? Then one day I will show you like the behind the scene of how I make live streams, that is, so that you can see how I'm able to draw these things one day. But I want to show you this. I could do something very complex, like starting from the top plane, making an extrusion, and then making another box, making it void, I mean, but it will take forever. While I can see, if I delete these, I can see that simply this object is an extrusion, but instead of being in a horizontal plane, this is an extrusion that is on this plane, and it has the depth going like this. And for masterpiece, that's right. So check how simple this operation will be in Revit. That works like this. I go to level 1, and in my level 1 view, I will click make a reference plane, and I will make a reference plane that is basically like a section line. It looks like a section line. It will be just this line here. This line in reality is just the projection of a plane, and once that I have made it, I have also to click where it is written click to name, and I need to give a unique name to my plane, and you will see in a second why this is crucial. And I will call it M for masterpiece. This is the name of this plane here. Okay? So see the magic, because I go to create, now that I have created at least this additional plane, and what I will do is I will click set my working plane, and the reason why I gave it a precise name to the plane is because I can now select that plane from the list of available planes, and I click OK. My Revit says, look, your plane is something that is vertical, so you can't work in your vertical plane if you are looking down. So it suggests me to open the 3D view, and I will accept this suggestion. But check this. If now I click extrusion and I draw, because I have set my working plane as M for masterpiece, you will see that I can snap these things, but I am working in my vertical plane. So let's make it very precise. I don't like this line here. So let's make this beautiful thing. Close here, close there, go up here. Then I think it was like that. Let's make it longer. Let's add this line in here. Let's close it here. And let's use a little bit of trim to remove unwanted intersections. And also, I think here there is a missing line. Perfect. Ooh, look at that. If I am right, this should be a closed shape, so I can click OK. And exactly, it is not closed. Why? Says something here. So let me check. I trim this with this, this with that. Let's see now. Lines cannot intersect each other. Where? I'm curious where this thing is happening. Give me a second. Ah, I've drawn twice this probably. Yes, I have overlapping lines. Let's see now. Exactly. I have drawn twice this vertical line. But now I have this beautiful three-dimensional thing that I can extrude, but the extrusion is not going up or down. The extrusion goes perpendicular to the plane that I have created. Okay? And I have this phenomenal looking element on the side. Okay? I want to make some additional shelf inside this, because remember, this should be a bookshelf. So, just to show you again levels, look, this time I want to make horizontal planes. So I will first go on my elevation, and I go to create, and I will add some new reference plane. So I make 2 of them, at least, and I will call them shelf 2, and I select this one, I click to name, and I will call it shelf 1. Okay, let's go back to 3D. So, can I join the two? Of course, yes, because look, your classmate asks. As you can see, this is a solid, and this is another solid. So, you can see these overlapping areas in here that are actually not that pretty. Also because they will look like these in all of your technical drawings. So the thing that I simply suggest to do, just close to the end of your work, is that when you are in your inside your modeling in place, you can click this by going to the Modify tab. You can click Join, and you can join elements that have been created like independent solids. And in this way, you basically fuse like what in 3ds Max is called a pro-Boolean union, but you fuse these objects together. And they look like they are perfectly continuous objects. Okay? So, let's finish this bookshelf by simply doing this. I have created those two additional horizontal planes. So look, I go to Set, I click shelf number 1. Okay, I don't know because shelf number 2 is not appearing. I will check it. I click Extrusion and see this. Can you see this button here that we have used, pick lines, we have used to make floors, sorry. Yes, they are fused, but they are still independent. So you can still modify them, but they are fused. So it's an interesting way to work. So I was saying I want to pick lines instead of redrawing. So look, my plane is up here. I click pick lines, and look, if I pick edges of my lower shelf, they are projected directly on my working plane. Okay? Pick, 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 pick. I have just to trim these. So I will first split them. I shouldn't split them here, but it's okay. And then I can trim them like this. Perfect. Yes, I know. And I will delete this one. But in this way, I can make another extrusion of this top shelf. Let's make it 5. Okay, and I can build whatever tool, with these simple tools, I can build whatever I want. Extrusion is not the only available tool. I want to show you Blend, for example. Blend is a phenomenal tool, and what Blend does is basically this. Blend is a tool that requires at least 2 planes created, and once wait a second, I was planning. First of all, we have Blend. Blend is a tool that works like this. I have to make a closed shape in one plane. Then I have to make another closed shape into another plane. And what Blend does is it creates a solid by blending these two sections together. And this is why it is important to have planes created before. So, check this. What I will do is I will make a support for this weird looking bookshelf in this way. I click Blend. I am editing. I need to edit 2 sections. So I will set where is my base. And I will click level 1, so it starts from the ground. And let's say I will draw an ellipse. I mean, I've never used ellipse, so let's make an ellipse here, for example. Then, when I want to make my upper section, I need to click first Edit the Top. I will set in which plane my top shape must be made. So I select it and I want till shelf 1. Click OK. And here I will make, I don't know, a rectangle here. So inside my blend tool, I have a ellipse at the base, a rectangle at the top. I click OK, and this is the solid. And why it goes till there? It has to go till here. Exactly, sorry. So this solid is a solid that blends an ellipse to a rectangle. Okay? So let me show you one thing first before showing you also Revolve. That is this. Because right now what we have is this. Look, we have that our bookshelf is in reality, and maybe I want to join this as well. Exactly. Fantastic. What a bookshelf. Remember, don't copy it, because everything that I do is copyrighted by myself. Anyway, let's see this. Right now, these pieces are 4 different solid objects. But we are still inside the model in place, component model in place. So, check this. At the very right on your modify panel, when you are inside modify model in place, there is a button that says finish model. If I click finish model, I go back to my Revit interface and workflow, and what I have is that for Revit these will be one block. There is a furniture that I have called bookshelf also. So if I go to Revit, let's say, and I create my walls, I create my rooms, and so on and so on. Then, once that I have created my component is just one object. So I can copy it, and I will copy, maybe multiple times, and I will copy these as one single object. Okay? I can align it to my walls. I want to do exactly the exact opposite direction. So I wanted this to be 180 exactly. And now align it. Oh, just place it here. Finally. Okay. So you can move them, copy, delete them, rotate them, whatsoever, and they are seen like one object. Okay? Because this is probably the question that your classmate wanted to see. Is this? And now, oops, these walls are too tall. Exactly. And inside my room, I have all these copies of my block. Why I've made these? Not only to answer to your classmate, but also because if by mistake you click Finish Model and you realize that in here there are still missing elements and this shelf cannot stand like this, you can still edit and edit and edit your component by simply selecting your component, and you can or double click on it or click edit in place. So I select it, I double click it because it is faster, and by double clicking I go immediately inside editing again, so I can create, extrude and make whatever I need to my object. When I have finished it, I click Finish and I will have the possibility to change things inside my object. Okay? Or you can select it, edit in place, and so on and so on. Okay? Okay. So, let's see other tools. So, and this would be beautiful. I'll make another furniture right now. Let's call it another furniture. And let's explore other tools. We have seen extrusion, we have seen blend. I want to show you Revolve. That is something that we have already studied in 3ds Max. In 3ds Max, you can do this. Look. Imagine that. Let's pick a color. Imagine that instead of Revolve, let's make this. Let's see if it works. Instead of Revolve, instead of Revolve, it is written lathe. Okay? Imagine that the Revit interface is like that, and Revolve is exactly what lathe is in 3ds Max. So it is a tool that basically allows you to create a shape that is the shape that you want. You have here a very easy task to do. That is, you have to draw where you want your axis to be, and then Revolve will rotate your section around your axis to create a solid in this way. And exactly like 3ds Max, by default you always make a 360 degrees rotation, while if you need, you can also make not full rotations, and you can choose, starting from your axis, from where the rotation starts to where the rotation ends. Like in lathe or like in other 3ds Max solids, is called slice on and slice from and slice to. So let's see how it works, because it is too simple. You click Revolve. First thing that you have to draw is you have to draw the section that you want to revolve, and let's fillet these corners. Very nice. And I'm making this particular example just to show you not a small problem, but a very common question that I have in Revit. So I am making, look, I know this is going to be beautiful, but slightly wrong. I'm drawing this section on a horizontal plane. And once that I have made my closed boundary, while I am inside Revolve, I have to click that I want to draw the axis, and I will, let's say, draw this line here. Okay? So basically my section will rotate around that axis, and what I will get will be this. That is nothing more than my beautiful tulip table. That is a very famous kind of design object that you can use in your projects. But there is a big problem, an unbelievably big problem. That is, this table is on the floor, because if I draw the floor is this. So a lot of students used to ask me, Marco, can I rotate this to make it vertical? And as I said at the beginning, while we have set our Revit is you can't rotate it because the object is on a plane. Okay? So if you try to click rotate, it happens that you can only rotate it on its starting plane. What we should do is, instead, or we go to the plane, floor plan view, and we create a vertical plane. Oops. Let's make it straight at least. And if we work in this way, at least, we can go to set. We will set, I forgot to give the name, sorry. So we were on level 1. I click and I give a name, and I will call it left, even if it is right, but it's okay. Then I go to my 3D view. I set that I want to work in my left plane, and I will use Revolve. So like I did with the M-shaped element of the library, I can also make vertical levels before, so that now if I draw my table what happens would be I will draw it in this vertical orientation. So the process is the same, but instead of exactly Eero Saarinen is the author of the tulip table, and let's fillet a little bit here, fantastic. Let's fillet this and that, this and that. I mean, shouldn't be a little bit less. Then I draw my axis here and I click OK. In this way, I make the same thing, but the orientation of the table is already correct. Okay? Then, just to show you, when you make Revolve, in your properties, you can see that by default you have end angle 360, start angle 0. This is why you have a full rotation. But if you want, you can decrease this. Let's say I will make it 180. And then you are free to slide the rotation or by hand by dragging these grips, or if you want to be more precise, you can also type angles. And you can use also positive or negative angles if you want to have clockwise or anti-clockwise rotations. So you can go from 0 till minus 160 and it goes like that. Or you can type 160 and it will go from 0 to the opposite side. So just by using minus, you invert the rotation direction. Okay? So let's say minus 90, apply, and you can make this interesting looking element. I don't know what it is for, but it looks cool. Okay? This is Revolve. I want to show you last one, and it will be enough. That is called Sweep. Sweep, again, is something that looks very similar to a tool that we have studied in 3ds Max. That is called, in 3ds Max it was called Loft. Even if, to be 100% precise, even inside 3ds Max there is a modifier called Sweep. But at the end of the day, what Sweep does in Revit would be this. You have to draw two elements. One is a path. One will be a profile. And Sweep will extrude your profile along the path. Nothing easier than this. Also, what is interesting is that you need only to set the plane for your path, because Revit will automatically place a perpendicular plane on your path where you can just draw the path that you need. Okay, so let me show it because it takes really 1 second. Sweep works like this. You click sweep, you click sketch the path first, or we set our plane, let's say level 1, so that it would be horizontal. Okay. And then when we click sketch the path, we can make the path with whatever shape that we want. Can be curvy, can be sharp, can be both. Can be open or closed as well. It doesn't matter. I would just keep it open. I mean, for no reason. But you can see that by sketching the path, we have immediately this perpendicular plane that is where we need to draw the profile. So, once that we have drawn our path, and we click OK for the first time, then we need to click into the profile by sketch and we edit the profile and we can draw the profile as we like it. Even for sweep, as well as all other tools that I'm explaining, you have to make closed shapes to be extruded along the path. They can be one closed shape. It can be two closed shapes. They can be closed shapes with closed shapes inside. It is always the same thing. But when you click OK, and when you click OK, this is what sweep does. That is, you have your profile extruded along your path. Okay? And let me show you a realistic example. So I cancel this model. I delete everything. And let's imagine that we have our house, exactly, molding for doors. This is exactly what I'm about to create. Let's say I have this room. So this is how it looks like in 3D. So what I will do to add decoration would be this. Look, I go to Component, I click Model in Place. This is not going to be a furniture because it's going to be something stick to a wall. So I will click that I want to make a wall. And I will call it Moldings. And now see the magic. I click Sweep. The path is also something that will take 1 second to be done because I will pick existing edges of my walls, so I don't even need to redraw the path. Okay. And I click OK. Then into the area that is called Profile by Sketch, I click Edit Profile, and I can make these beautiful profile. I mean, not that beautiful in reality. I mean, looks interesting. I will draw this temporary line that I will delete afterward, and you will see why. So that on top I make this very neoclassical kind of decoration. And at a certain height, I will also, not here, I will also add these additional decoration just to collect a lot of dust. Perfect. But they are not yet closed shapes, so I will split this line here, and I will use trim to close this shape, to close this shape as well. You should add a little bit of fillet here and there, but this doesn't change how the tool works. So you click OK for the profile, you click OK for the entire sweep object, and boom! You have your phenomenal room heavily decorated with these moldings. So you have the skirting, the crowning, moldings. You have everything needed to make this beautiful decoration. Technically, with sweep, you can also add, let's say, have you ever seen those walls that not only have moldings, but in between skirting and the first molding, they have also a layer that is made in wood? So you can add instead just a thin rectangle along the sweep, and then when we will see materials, we can also add another material to that part so that you can have like the painting here, wood there, and so on and so on. Okay? Because for today, I would like to stop here so that, and I will also save this file so that next week we will start from here, and I will continue explaining a lot more complex things that you can do by using model in place. And also, I will show you by using more or less same technique that you can make objects that are instead saved in your library that not only are modeled in place, but you will be able to use them in more than one project in a very easy way. Okay? Yes? No? Maybe? Let me see. Let's wait. Perfect. Also, no one today said the video is lagging. I mean, there were no lag today. Perfect. Thank you. You're welcome. It is always a pleasure. Thank you so much to you as well. So I hope also that you will have a phenomenal, as it wasn't lagging. I hope Okay, thanks for the email. I will check later after lunch, and we will see if I have issues. Very nice. Perfect. Have a phenomenal weekend, and as usual, have fun, not too much. So, see you next. Oh, this is an interesting question. Just a question. There is no class next week. Yes, it would be like this. So, I know that we are stuck at home, but technically next week there will be no class. So I have this great idea, that is, can you just let me know if you can, first of all, but only for next week, to avoid missing one entire week. But my question is, can you follow the class on Thursday from 1 to 3? Tell me yes, please. Because I make Revit in just another group. Exactly, tell me yes. Be so nice. You have another class, but why? No. You have another class. No, this is dramatic. So let me check with Lady how many students have another class, because it would be unfair to make just another class for that not all of you can follow. Okay, and be so nice during this week. Check very often the FDA secretary. It's called FDA secretary, yes. FDA secretary website, so that I will tell Lady if we can quickly make a makeup class. Okay, because I would like to avoid losing an entire week just for and we'll see. Okay, so just check the secretary. I will talk to Lady and I will keep you updated from there. No, don't worry, I will figure it out. Okay, so for now, let me go to eat, and because it is time, because I have to cook as well, so if I don't cook, no one will eat in my house. So for now, have fun, take a look at the FDA Secretary website to see what is going to happen next week. Okay? Perfect. See you next week. Bye, everyone.